Je me rappelle parfaitement du jour où on l'a rencontré pour la première fois. C'était à l'occasion de la première édition des Geneva Watch Days en 2020. On se trouvait dans l'espace Urwerk afin d'enregistrer notre podcast avec Félix Baumgartner. Là, entre deux portes, on a pu le rencontrer et on a pu discuter avec lui. Je parle bien sûr du cofondateur et creative director Martin Frei.
Now when you do this here, you see.
Après, à de nombreuses reprises, on a pu rediscuter avec lui, mais à ce moment-là, pour moi, ça a été un véritable tournant. Aujourd'hui, c'est vraiment tout particulier. Il nous ouvre les portes de son studio situé à Zurich et c'est surtout l'espace où son esprit créatif peut pleinement et librement s'exprimer. Alors quand on vous propose une telle opportunité, on ne peut pas dire non. Et croyez-nous, on n'a pas été déçus.
So at the beginning, actually, I had in mind that it's like square, but it got too flat, too big. So, and I was already like, oh, okay, it's terrible. This is all wrong. It's not cool. It's not cool. And then I realized I just have to cut here these sides, like this, and that saved the whole project. It saved the whole watch. I have these drawings, I fill it, and then I would bring it to our conversations with the engineers or with Felix. It goes back and forth, and maybe then the design, so the ideas change. This is actually not design ideas usually, or maybe also, but maybe mostly it's like ideas for concepts. You have a history in an object, and then you can somehow find out about it, and you have to somehow almost dig it out again because it's already in time back in the past. So you have to somehow. It becomes abstract in a way. It becomes a history, and in this sense, it also, gets to be more than what it is at the moment it's created. You see?
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. So you need to somehow rediscover it, and at the moment you create it, you're busy with a problem and you try to resolve the problem and you're doing it and so.
And again.
But it's not the same. Later on you look back, you have all this history of it that somehow connects it, It's part of that whole process. First of all, I'm a big fan of the mechanics of a typewriter.
Okay.
Just mechanically, it's an amazing machine. I mean, if you look at this, for instance, you could learn from the mechanics of this. Yeah. How does that whole thing work? So you have for every letter, you have that arm that comes up, but every arm goes to the same place. This could also be used for a watch, easily. But the mechanics are absolutely stunning, of a thing like this. They become kind of like objects. You could also say like science fiction, and we already don't know anymore how it was working, and what it was doing. Like with this thing, at some point, when my son looks at it, he's like, "What is this? What the hell is this?" Or you look at an old phone with the stuff. It look like this. Is it part of a science fiction film? That maybe
we are using it like
this old light meter.
Okay.
How does it work? So you have a light here, and it's going to measure
put
it here. Now when you do this here, you see, and then you have here this wheel.
Okay.
Turn it, and you move this to that point where it meets the needle. And like this, you have the right reading over here.
Okay, so you need
But what you have here, obviously, when you look into it, you have a cylinder. Okay. And on this cylinder, you have a line, like a line going around the cylinder that you see here. But you only have here a gap that you look onto the cylinder. You see? So you have a cylinder here, and then you have this helix, this spiral around the cylinder, and you use it here like this to give you the reading of that light meter. But if you look at our watch that we did, the linear time indication, it's the same geometry. You have also a cylinder. On the cylinder you have a spiral.
I'm seeing something which is really interesting. If I may get this one.
Yeah. There's many parts like this, from different watch parts. This is the over 103.
It was the first one and the second one.
It was actually not the first one. It was already, like we had it first, it was closed. You had only the indication of that. And at some point I opened it up like this because we wanted to be able to see how the whole thing works. And so I allowed it first only to be opened this way, and I wanted to have this still to cover the center. Okay. So actually you didn't really see how it was switched.
Yeah.
It still stayed a miracle. How does that work? You try to learn from nature because everything is already here, right? You try to understand what's happening, why are people getting sick and so on. So that's how science can do.
And that's how you learn.
That's how you learn. That's how you, because as a child, everybody's a scientist. Because you have to learn the world. So every child is a scientist because they don't know the world yet. They look around, they see things, and they look at everything more precisely than everybody else. Do you have time to read, or do you have time to look at the world? This is a just question. And happily, I'm allowed to do that in my job. A big part of my job is to look at stuff, because I need to get inspired by stuff to create stuff.
Yeah.
And we set up our whole project as a machine where we can learn things, where we can. It's an experiment where we can develop stuff. It's an experiment that helps you to explore the world. It existed here only on paper at that very moment, and then later on it became reality. It became this. And when you look at it, you see, it was really interesting. Just the how it ends flat here, It's on one line. That's how it looks from the back, but I haven't seen it from the back yet. Because it didn't exist, so I had it in my mind. I had to draw it, but it's quite exactly that, It's an idea like the T8, but the T9, like a smaller case with a control board on the back. So when you actually flip it, you have in front you have the indication, and the back you have the control board. So that's something that my original idea, and I always wanted to do it. But I suggest is actually that we turn around, and I'm your art teacher, and you're actually the one who's drawing.
Are you ready?
Lower part. The ellipse is wider because you look with your eyes. You look onto it.
Okay.
Here you have a flatter ellipse, so the upper ellipse is flatter.
Oh.
So when you connect it, oh wow, glass.
Yeah.
But you're drawing like this.
It's flat and flat.
That's how strong your idea of the glass is in your mind.